now that we're going back to in-person learning, we don't want to get away from using those iPads. We still have a really good tool for us to be able to use in the classroom so that our kids can continue to do things without having to be right next to each other or without having to be right next to us. So I'm going to show you today just a quick review on digital workplaces, and we're going to talk about how your students can use those iPads that they have so that they can have their digital workspaces available for them. So here's what we're going to do. When we go to our Bridges website, we're going to log in just like I have here, and then I'm going to hit Resources. And when I go to Resources, it's going to bring me to the regular page where I have all my all the curriculum things that you would normally use for Smartboard files and all of those. But over on the right here, we have resources for 2020 and 2021. And if we click on that, it will bring us to a different resource page. Across the top are all the different grade level resources, and then if you look here at the end, it says digital workplaces. When I go to that and click on it, it brings me a list of all the workplaces that exist in Bridges. So I'm going to switch it to grade 2. So we'll take a look at grade 2 workplaces, and when I click apply, it changes it so that only the second grade workplaces are here. So now I look and I say, okay, so here's all my second grade workplaces. Let's see. I want my kids to play base 10 triple spin today. When I click on it, it brings me to a page that you might seem as familiar when you've done some online stuff with Bridges, but it's an interactive web page where where kids can go on and play. So the first page lists the directions. Same if it's a 2-page direction sheet, and then on the third page is the actual playing area. So on the left here, we can pull over pieces so that we can demonstrate what we want to show. And then if you look on the top, they actually have the spinners built in already. There is a place to do writing. If you click the writing tool on the bottom here, you can go ahead and just write right in the box. Your kids can go and do this right on their iPads. So you could have kids sitting a little bit apart from each other, each have their own page in front of them, and using the resources, using those math manipulatives that we had sent earlier in the year. Every kid should be able to do this on their own, but still play with somebody else, just not sitting right next to them or sharing materials. So that's how we're going to do math workplaces. In the Apple Classroom video that you're going to see soon, I will show you how you can share this with your students so they don't have to search for it. The next thing that we're going to look at today is Apple Classroom. It's different than Google Classroom, which we don't use because we use Seesaw, and Google Classroom is a lot like Seesaw. So Apple Classroom will allow you to look at all of your students' work on their iPad while still maintaining distance, and it allows you to see all of their work at the same time. So I want to show you here. The Classroom app looks like this. So I'm using a different iPad today because I don't have my own class, so I had to fake a class, so you'll see it when we get in there. But if you go to your Jamf app, you can see that the Classroom app looks just like this. Download it onto your iPad, and when you do, and you open it up, it will already be pre-built for you. Your class is already in there. So you'll just click on your class. Mine says test, but you'll click on your class name. And when you go in, you will see all of your students' iPads there. Now, they're not going to say, it might not say their name if their iPad's not named that. I think most kids do have their name on their iPad, so it should be able to, you should be able to see it very clearly. But for this one, I had to just add one of my own iPads to this, so you'll only be able to see mine. But if you are doing it in your classroom, on the bottom area there where it says Andy display off, you will be able to see all of your students' iPads and do everything that I'm about to show you here. So right now the display on my student's iPad, on Andy's iPad, is off. Now when he goes into it, all of a sudden it turned to lock screen. Now he's on his lock screen and he is logging into the iPad, and then it will show home screen. And it will show you what I am seeing. So you can just see a quick little view of it. If you don't see that, you want to click the screen button up here, and that's going to turn the screens on and off. So you'll be able to see all of the screens. And so you can kind of do a quick overview of all of your kids and see what they're looking at. Now, if you know that, if you look and you say, oh, it looks like Andy is not doing the right thing, you can click on his iPad and then it will bring up his name, and you can click the view screen here and you'll be able to see the iPad really clearly exactly what he's doing. So if you want to look and you say, oh look, he is in Dreambox. Okay, so I know he's in the right spot here. Alright. Oh, now it looks like he's going to be getting out of Dreambox. And what's he doing now? Oh, it looks like he's going on Twitter. Oh, that's not what we're supposed to do. So if you see a student doing something they're not supposed to do, you can get out of that screen and you can click the lock button. When you click lock, it will lock my iPad. Now, I can't show you the iPad screen, but my iPad has just a picture of a lock in the middle, and it says, this iPad has been locked by Mr. Larson. Your kids can't do anything now. I like to do this if I'm doing small groups, and my kids are supposed to be working on something else. They know that if their iPad gets locked, they just have to put it down because they were doing something they weren't supposed to do, and they can come talk to me about it when I'm done with my group. So, that's one thing you can do. You then can unlock it by clicking that unlock button at the top. The other thing that you can do that's really cool is you can navigate for your kids. So you can actually send them to an address that you have. So like I showed you earlier, those Bridges workplaces, the digital workplaces, you can actually have that website all set to go. Click that navigate button and you can send them right to where you want them to go by just having it saved as a bookmark. And then boom, you send it to them and they can go without having to type it all in. Same thing with an app over here, the open button. You can have them open up an app on their iPad and you can open it for them, okay? So those are the things that you can do with the Apple Classroom app. This is great because you don't have to be walking around looking over the kids' shoulders, being really close to them to see what they're working on. You can do it all from your own iPad here. So if you want to do this, go to the Jamf app and go to your My Resources and download it onto your iPad. Like I said, it will be all set up with your class already in it. Alright, I know that there's going to be a lot of people who are still going to be using their hover cams or their dock cams once we get back into our regular teaching classroom, because we won't be able to have the kids come up right next to us, so we'll probably need to display some of the books we read or other things up onto the smartboard. And one of the things that I wanted to do was do a quick little tutorial on how to use the auto lock feature, autofocus lock, so that you do not have to have your camera keep focusing in and out as you turn the pages of a book. So really quick, I have the Butter Battle book here in front of me. I'm going to show you, remember that you can have the view screen of how you're having your picture displayed change, and it doesn't matter which way you have the camera. You can see it here in front of me, down here in the picture down here, I have the camera facing this way, but without moving it, I can just click that view button and I can change the rotation alignment so that way I can have it however works best for me and still display it the way I want. So I know that a lot of you have probably done this, where you've started reading a book with kids and the book seems to be all focused, and then you go and you turn the page and it kind of focuses in and out, and then it gets a little blurry, and then it readjusts, and oh, there, now it's good. And each time it does that. If you are going to have the book at the same level the entire time, and you're not going to move things around in terms of what you want kids to see, there is a button on the camera called AFL. Now hold on a second, I'm going to show you. Look down here in the corner. It's right here. It says AFL on it. And if you click that button, it does auto lock. Oh, look at how blurry it is here. So now it's all locked in. I'm going to click the AFL. It's going to autofocus, and then it's going to lock on to that level. Now, if I lift it up and bring it around here, like I was trying to do before, it's going to be all blurry, except when I set it down, it's already focused in on that level. So if you are finding that the camera focuses each time you turn the page. That's a super simple way for you to not have to do that. It's AFL. It's on the bottom left part of your hover cam on those 5 buttons.